Yes, the ladies are finally getting their due on the courts. Basketball courts, that is. Before now, the only place women could strut their stuff on the basketball court professionally was overseas. But two new leagues are on the scene in the U.S., the ABL and the WNBA. The ABL made its premiere in the afterglow of the women's gold medal victory at the 1996 Olympics. The WNBA premiered around the country just this past weekend. Red-hot players like Ruthie, Bolton, and Valerie say they're glad to be able to finally showcase their talent at home.
It's kind of neat because I get to play in front of people that I knew, and it's really rewarding after so many years overseas.
The fan response to women's basketball has been tremendous so far. Thousands turned out for the premier games. This is not the first time professional women's basketball has been tried in the U.S. There were leagues in the 1970s and early 80s, but they failed. But these new players say it's a different day and time, and they're here to stay. For BET Talk, I'm Sabrina Daines. Here's Tavis Smiley.
Good evening. Welcome to BET Talk. Joining us tonight to talk about women on the basketball courts, the professional courts, I should say, via satellite from Sacramento, Ruthie, Bolton, Holyfield of the WNBA's Sacramento Monarchs, and here in studio with us tonight, Valerie Steele of the ABL's Columbus Quest. Ladies, good evening. How are you?
Pretty good.
How you doing, Ruthie?
I'm doing fine.
Good. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Let me start by asking both of you a question I want to get both of your responses to, and that is it fair to say at this juncture that women have finally proven that they belong on the professional basketball courts now that we have not one but two leagues up simultaneously? Or you still think, or is it fair to say that the jury is still out on whether women belong on the professional courts? What do you think?
I think by just this weekend, the crowd response, and during our season even, our crowd support, you can tell that the United States is ready for women's professional basketball. And that goes along to say with the Olympic team this past summer, I think they were the ones that pushed us out there and I showed the people that we really could play a good brand of basketball.
You agree or disagree with that, Ruthie?
I agree. I think that with the national team, with us going 6-0, I feel that we set the foundation for women's basketball, and it really elevated. And I think that it's time now for a league, and I'm really excited to be playing professional basketball in the States.
You are obviously playing in two separate leagues, one of you in the WNBA, the other in the ABL, so you know I got to get into some intra-league rivalry here for just a second. The crowds have been turning out in huge numbers for the WNBA games. The NBA puts the muscle behind the WNBA. The crowds have been huge for the WNBA game so far, but any good sportscaster would tell you that the argument is that the ABL has the best talent. What do you come down on that?
Well, that's one of the main, one of my main peeves is that, you know, the NBA jumped in after the ABL had already started its league, and it's almost divided us somewhat. Ruthie and I, we both played in Italy together, so we're just glad to be back in the United States, and now it seems like we're divided again. And I think the WNBA has not informed the United States of this other ABL league. They're really promoting themselves, and it's not women's basketball together. And I kid around about it sometimes, and I don't know, maybe Ruthie will agree with me on this one, but maybe if we could have like an all-star game, you know, the best of the ABL against the best of the WNBA, that would showcase women's basketball and would promote it, and it would be a plus for everybody.
Ruthie, do you get at all offended when people such as Tavis, Smiley a moment ago suggest that the best talent really is in the ABL, that you're really not playing against the best women that can be put in front of you every night?
Well, I'm here in Sacramento for the Monarchs, and I'm enjoying myself. I have some great teammates. There are other great players in the league, and I don't really want to compare players. I'm just glad to be part of a professional basketball league, and I think that we have very talented players in the league.
All right, let me dig this a little further then. The WNBA players are making somewhere between, on average, $15,000 and $50,000. That's for the WNBA, between 15 and 50. For the ABL, they're making somewhere between 40 and 150, between 40 and 150. Mm-hmm. Ruthie, you gotta wish that you were in the ABL making that money.
No, I think there's a lot of times money is not everything, and I just wanted to be a part of the WNBA. I feel like they're setting a foundation, and we are not getting paid as much, but I think that the time will come, and that we just have to be patient and most of all just enjoy the sport.
All right, Valerie, Ruthie says money isn't everything. but she certainly has the marketing and the promotion behind her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ruthie's going to say that. She's one of the premier players in that league, and I'm pretty sure with her endorsements and all, of course she doesn't have that problem, but the WNBA has players that are actually making $7,500. And if they're a professional league, there's no way you can live off of $7,500. So all these players who say they're going to play in the United States now and just use that as a career, it's not going to happen because you can't live off that money in 1 year. So there is some misinformation about that. Of course, like I said, Ruthie probably doesn't have that problem because with her sponsorships and all, she doesn't have to worry about that. But I think the ABL is more oriented towards the players and are looking out towards the players. And I think if we're going to have a league, it's got to be an entity by itself. I mean, the NBA is what it is. I mean, I watched the draft today. That's the male league. That's their thing. I think we need a league of our own, and that I think eventually it's going to come down to just one league because we're too divided right now.
I'm glad you said that because I want to ask that question before we go to the phone lines after this first break and take your phone calls for our guest tonight as we talk about women's professional basketball. But let's talk about that one professional women's basketball league that many people think is coming somewhere down the road. Do you honestly think, Ruthie, that we're ever going to see the day when these two leagues are going to merge? We all remember, of course, the ABA being essentially crushed back in the day by the NBA, and we brought in people like Dr. J and others into the NBA. Do you think that one day these two leagues are actually going to get together?
You know what? It may happen. That's for the league to say, but right now I'm just trying to enjoy the first summer of being in the States, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm just glad that I'm playing professionally in the States and that young girls have the opportunity to believe that their dreams can come true playing in the States one day.
Valerie, how happy are you to come back home? You mentioned that you and Ruthie played over in Italy together for quite some time.
I loved Italy, and I know Ruthie had a good time where she was also, but it's just nice to be able to play in front of your family and friends and also to be positive role models for little girls who are playing basketball right now. But I think starting a professional league is difficult enough, and when you divide that and start two at one time, it's unheard of. I mean, the ABA got started a long time after the NBA had already got started. To start them both together, it's just going to be so difficult to do, I think.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get your phone calls for our guest tonight, Valerie Steele of the Columbus Quest in the ABL, and Ruthie Bolton Holyfield, a guard for the Sacramento Monarchs in the WNBA. We'll take your phone calls for these ladies of the court in just a moment, so stay with us. Welcome back to BET Talk. We're about to go to the phone lines in just a minute to take your phone calls for our guest tonight as we talk about the onset of women's professional basketball, the ABL and the WNBA both taking off. Let me ask you, before I go to the phone calls, Valerie, whether or not it's too early to make an issue. Many sports writers of late have talked about the fact that the ABL lost a significant amount of money in its first year. Too early to make an issue out of that after one season?
I think most professional leagues that start off, they know they're going to lose initially with the hopes that eventually the league will go. And we're signing people to 3- and 4-year contracts. We've just signed Casey Jones to a contract for 4 years, I believe. And so we're around to stay. And so initially they knew that they would have some losses, but they weren't the losses that they thought they were going to have.
Okay. Let's go to Illinois and talk to Trenisha. Trenisha, thanks for holding. You're on BET Talk.
Hi, Ruthie.
Hi, how are you?
Trenisha. Turn your television down, please. Turn it all the way down. Right quick.
Sorry.
All right, I got a horrible echo. Now you can talk. Go ahead.
Okay, hi, Ruthie. This is Trenisha.
Hi.
I want to tell you that I'd just like to thank you and all the other women's professional basketball players for inspiring me to go forth and go forward in my basketball career, because a year or two ago, I didn't even know that women could go and play professionally. And just to me and my other teammates at Jacksonville High School, I'd like to thank you personally and just keep doing a good job. And if you can, tell Lisa I said hi.
Thank you.
Trenisha, thank you for your phone call in Illinois. Let me move to California, where Ruthie joins us tonight from. Tanyika, I believe. Thanks for calling. You on BET Talk.
Hello, Ruthie. How are you?
How are you?
Hi, Tavis. How are you?
Good. How are you?
When I was in high school, I cracked my kneecap, and I was wondering, I'm soon to be going to college, and I was wondering, do you think I should try and play basketball again? Because I played basketball when I was in high school, and I cracked my kneecap. Do you think I should try it, when I go to college, should I try it one more time?
I didn't quite hear the question.
She was saying that she had an injury when she was in high school, and she's considering trying to go back to college now to play. And she was asking what your advice would be, given that she's already had an injury before, whether she should try it again on the college circuit.
I think so. If that's your dream, if that's what you want to do, I think you should do it, because you shouldn't let someone tell you what you can't do or let circumstances stop you. I think if you want to play, go ahead and give it a shot.
Let me ask you, Ruthie, before I get back to these phone calls here, as you and Valerie both know, in the last week or so, we've heard a lot of talk about the 25th anniversary of Title IX. Of course, Title IX being that government policy that mandated that women's sports be given more fair, more equal treatment, certainly on college campuses. What do you think of college sports now, 25 years after Title IX? And more specifically, what do you think the impact on women's sports, certainly women's basketball, may be if both of these leagues succeed, either separately or as one?
Well,
You got that, Val?
I can say I watched the Final Four this year, and the level of competition is just incredible. I watched the high school all-star game, and it's just incredible how the level has just grown continuously, and I think the United States appreciates that, and I think Title IX had a lot to do with that. And as far as other sports, women's sports, you can see there's, I think, 1 out of 3 girls now are participating in sports, and I think that has a lot to do with Title IX.
Ruthie, you think women's sports are getting the respect they deserve, or are they still behind the times?
No, I think we are definitely catching up. Women basketball has really elevated, and it used to be where we wanted to play with the boys. Now the boys want to play with us. And I think that the women game has elevated in all sports, and even in the Olympics, I think the women won more gold medals than the men, so the women are definitely on the horizon.
All right, let's go to Gerald here in Washington. Gerald, thanks for holding you on BET Talk.
I would like to know, hello everybody, I would like to know, will there be playoffs and championships as like the NBA?
Well, in the ABL, we did have a semifinals, and we had a finals this year, which were the best 2 teams on the East Coast and the best 2 teams on the West Coast. And I believe I'm not sure how the format is for the WNBA, but I believe they do play playoffs, I think, in a finals. I think it's 1 game, though. I'm not sure.
How's that work with you? I know you guys have a 10-week season, but how does it actually come down in the end?
Yeah, we have playoffs at the end. I think the 4 teams from the West and from the East, I would think the first place team will play the 4th place team, and then they would go into a semifinal game, the last 2 teams.
Let's take another break. We'll come back and get more of your phone calls. Again, our guests, Valerie Steele and Ruthie Bolton Holyfield, both professional women's basketball players in these 2 new leagues, the ABL and the WNBA. We'll continue our conversation in a moment. Welcome back, that is, to BET Talk. Tomorrow's program is pre-recorded so that we can get ready for the premiere of Emerge TV, a 1-hour monthly news magazine that will focus on the cover stories of Emerge magazine. This month, we will tackle the controversy surrounding the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Did James Earl Ray act alone, or was he part of a much larger conspiracy? We'll discuss the issues surrounding his death and let you decide. Do not miss the premiere of Emerge TV Monday night at 11 p.m. right here on BET. We hope you'll be here for that conversation on Monday night. Tonight, though, we continue our conversation about these 2 emerging women's professional basketball leagues, the ABL and the WNBA. And let me go to Ruthie and tell you this. I was telling Valerie during the commercial break, I was at the gym playing some ball today, and the brothers were talking about the fact that the 2 of you were going to be my guests on the show tonight. And I asked them what they thought of the WNBA. They love the games. They think it's off to a good start. Everybody loved the promotional campaign, We Got Next. Valerie didn't like it, and I asked her in a second why she didn't. But the brothers loved everything except for the fact they complained about that you all are not scoring. Too many teams missing layups. You can't keep brothers' interest, and certainly a lot of men are going to have to watch these WNBA games if you guys are going to stay around. They were complaining, though, that not enough scoring is happening.
Well, I will say that some of the first games didn't look so high, but I think that it's just going to take time. I think everybody's out there trying and working hard, and I think that if we have dedicated fans, that they'll stick with us until we can, get it together. But I think we're going to have a great summer, and I think that teams will pick it up. Okay, before I go back to the phone calls, Valerie, tell me why you did not like this campaign, which I thought was brilliant, by the NBA. We Got Next. All the brothers know what next means. You got the next game, and so what was wrong with it?
I know, first, grammar-wise, it's not right. So, people who aren't familiar with the inner city, and that's where the saying comes from, because I used to use it when I was real little, And we used it because most of the time you get to the basketball court, if you were a girl or if you were one of the scrubs, you'd get there, they'd pick teams, and the first 10 people that were good, they put them on teams, and they'd say, then we'd have to sit on the sideline and we'd say, we got next, which meant we'd have the next game, which sometimes it might happen in a game, sometimes it might happen after an hour, sometimes whenever the big guys got done, then the girls and the scrubs got on. And I don't know if that's how it was with Ruthie, too, but that's how my experience was.
So you think in part this whole campaign is, in some way, a slap in the face to women's basketball?
For me, that's what I thought of right away, and a lot of people don't understand what we got next. If you didn't come from the inner city, it's like...
I sort of disagree. I feel like we got next is really good because it's saying that the men been playing, they've been having a professional basketball league, and now it's the women time. We're saying that we're on the surface and that we're ready to play basketball. Okay. It's our turn.
All right, let's go to Melinda in Texas. Melinda, thanks for holding you on BET Talk.
Hi, I'd like to say War Eagle to Ruthie.
Oh, thank you, War Eagle.
Graduate of Auburn, track athlete there. How long do you plan to stay in the league, and do you have any plans to maybe coach after that?
Well, I would like to play as of now up until the 2000 Olympics, and after I finish playing basketball, I would like to be a massage therapist and also work with young people. And I'm starting the Ruthie Bolton Foundation. I would really like to help young people that, mostly in the community back at home in Mississippi.
Hey, Ruthie, I wish you were here. My left shoulder's hurting a little bit right about now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go to T, who's holding in Ohio. T, thanks for calling. You're on BET Talk.
Hi, this comment is actually for Valerie. Valerie, I just want to tell you how fabulous you are and how wonderfully surprised we were at your performance last year. And while everybody's touting the WNBA, we want everybody to know that the talent really is in the ABL. No one can know how fantastic you were to watch in Richmond when you rejuvenated your team and brought them back. And I think that the league will make money this year because lots of people that I know are in the process of buying season tickets that didn't have them last year because you guys were such an exciting team to watch. And even though you didn't get the numbers last year as far as attendance, I think that the Columbus Quest is all that and more.
Well, thank you, T. Really appreciate that. And like I said, I'm really upset because they've divided us. The women's basketball movement needs to have a league. We need to be united. We need to be supported. We have sponsorships now, and Ruthie's a big spokesperson for Nike. I just signed with Reebok.
Let me take a break here. I got to take one last break. When we come back, I want to talk about the sponsorship, specifically of the leagues and for you and Ruthie as individuals. We're back in just a second to wrap this up. Stay with us. Welcome back to BET Talk. Let's continue our conversation about women's professional basketball. Talk to Terry in Florida, I believe. Terry, thanks for calling you on BET Talk.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
I want to congratulate both of y'all for the outstanding play over the years. What would it take for the American League to have the stability of the European League? I'm a basketball junkie. I want you girls to make it.
That's a good question. Everybody leaves college, women at least, and runs over to Europe to play. What makes their league survive and is just now taking off here in the States?
That's a good question. We invented basketball. We have the best women basketball players in the world, and it's just the mentality, informing people, educating them, and putting out a good product. And I think that's what we're doing right now. And the United States will take to it. It showed up this weekend. I mean, they had 14,000, 16,000. If there's enough publicity, if we're pushed out there, if we have sponsors, that sort of thing, it's going to take off.
Okay. Let's talk to Rosalind in South Carolina. Rosalind, thanks for holding. You're on BET Talk.
I just want to know what age y'all was and what grade you was in when y'all started playing basketball.
Go ahead, Ruthie.
Okay, I started playing when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it was not until I was 12 when I started playing organized basketball, and that was in junior high.
That's about the same for me. Everybody played basketball in my family, and so I just tagged along with my brothers.
Let me tackle the sponsorship question as we close our conversation here tonight. Tell me about your sponsors, Ruthie, as individuals, and the kind of sponsors who are behind the WNBA these days.
There are a number of sponsors behind the WNBA. I won't even start to name it, but there's a lot of sponsors, and they're really supporting the WNBA, and I think it's really great because they believe in this league, and they believe that it's good for women's basketball.
What about you as an individual? Is this league giving you the opportunity to lock into some sponsorship for yourself?
I think it is because of the exposure. This league, for the first year, I have 3 national television, and I think that's really great because I don't think there's been any other first-year teams that have had sponsors like this, and I think it's really good, and it shows that people are now believing that women's basketball is it's time for women's basketball.
I got less than 30 seconds, Valerie. You got the last word.
Well, like I said, I just recently signed with Reebok. They're a sponsor of both leagues. Ruthie's probably not giving herself enough credit because she's been out there with the Olympic team, and so she deserves a lot of those sponsorships, and hopefully a lot of the other players will get big shoe contracts.
I got to run. Good luck to both of you, and good luck to the leagues. Thanks for watching tonight. Until tomorrow night, keep the faith.